Chapter 618. Liao Qi was cursing until he was burning with anger. He wanted to hang up Mu Fang's phone. I can't reach her. Then come and apologize yourself. Personally go? She continued. How can this be? Mu Fang subconsciously objected. Even if the Mu family was finished, she was still the Liao family's matriarch, the general's wife. How could she personally apologize to an ordinary woman? No, absolutely not. Then I have no choice. Liao Qi was busy and did not have the time to bother with Mu Fang, this stupid woman. He immediately said impatiently, All right. I will hang up first. Don't hang up. Mu Fang was so anxious that she almost shouted. However, the other side did not give her any face and did not make any sound. Mu Fang could not help but cover her face and collapse to the ground. Her face was full of despair. What should she do? The father and son of the Liao family were forcing her. The Mu family had fallen, and everyone blamed her. She had become a sinner of the ancient times. Could it be that she really wanted to personally visit Jian Yun and apologize to her? No, she could not do it. She didn't understand. What was so good about that woman that made Hu Liancheng go crazy for her, and even offend all the wealthy families in the capital? Mu Fang was at a loss when she heard her phone ring. She quickly grabbed it, but when she saw Mu Wanru calling, she suddenly frowned. But even if Mu Fang was not willing, she still picked up the phone. Aunt, quickly think of a way to save Mu family. Grandfather had a cerebral hemorrhage and father was arrested. Today, he even received a court summons to collect the house. Mo Wanru cried out on the other side of the phone. I'll be right there. Mu Fang was upset. After hanging up the phone, she went to change her clothes. At the same time, she secretly took her jewelry and savings and put them in her bag. However, when Mu Fang walked to the door, she saw Liao Shigong looking at her with a gloomy face. Where are you going? When Mu Fang saw Liao Shigong, she was so scared that the bag in her hand fell to the ground. The things in the bag were also exposed. Liao Shigong's eyes were cold. If you dare to take a step out of Liao Mansion today, you will never come back. Mu Fang's face immediately turned pale. But my father is hospitalized. I can't ignore him. When they instigated you to steal my seal, did they ever think that such a day would come? Liao Shigong was furious when he thought about it. Because of this matter, the Liao family had been reported. If the old general had not come forward, the Mo family would not have been the only one who would have ended this time. Mu Fang was speechless. She could only cover her face and cry. You know what's more important. Liao Shigong was annoyed when he saw Mu Fang's face. He immediately turned around and left. Mu Fang's face was ashen. She knew that Liao Shigong was giving her an ultimatum. The heavy snow fell for a day. It only stopped at 5 or 6 in the evening. Jian Yun felt a little awkward today. 2 days ago, although Hu Liancheng was also staying at her house, she went into the bedroom. He was in the living room or going back to his own house. He would only follow her when she went out for dinner, or when she was about to go out. Today, however, he was staring at her at all times. Even when she said she was going to take an afternoon nap, he did not leave. Later, when he saw that she was not happy, he went to the living room. But when she woke up, she found that Hu Liancheng had come in at some unknown time. He even pulled a chair and sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her. Jian Yun always felt that something was wrong. She felt that Hu Liancheng seemed to be deliberately guarding her, but what was there for her to guard? Although she was depressed before giving birth, it was not so serious that she wanted to commit suicide. This situation continued until after dinner. Hu Liancheng and Cheng Mu's had dinner with her these few days. They appeared on time when it was time to eat. There were many people, and it was lively. Especially when Cheng Mu's was a good talker. He coaxed Yang Fei and Auntie Quinn until they were all beaming with joy. Hu Liancheng did not speak much, but he would not put on a cold face. However, he only served Jian Yun the whole time. He would occasionally touch Jian Yun's hands, and he would be excited for a long time. Cheng Mu's almost rolled his eyes. He should really call Liao Qi and his group over to see the big devil's flattery. After dinner, Jian Yun began to walk around the house with her stomach in her hands. It was cold outside. The temperature dropped at night and the road was frozen. She did not dare to take the risk to go out. It was not a joke to fall down. After Hu Liancheng and Cheng Mu's finished their meal, they disappeared for a while. When they came back, he actually asked Cheng Mu's to bring the computer and documents over. He was in the living room, accompanying Jian Yun while dealing with official matters. Jian Yun was tired from walking and sat down on the sofa. Every time she finished dinner, the baby in her stomach was the most active. She sat there, and the guy in her stomach started to perform the martial arts. That boshing skill was really powerful. Jianyun put her hand on her stomach and gently patted it. That place would arch up, and it was very interesting. Jianyun's eyes were full of gentleness when she thought of meeting Qi very soon. Jianyun was having a lot of fun. She suddenly felt a burning gaze on her. Jianyun did not need to look to know who that gaze belonged to. Inexplicably, she only felt her cheeks heat up and did not dare to raise her head for a moment. At 9 o'clock, Hu Liancheng picked up the phone and left reluctantly. Jianyun let out a heavy sigh of relief. Yang Fei rushed to bring the milk to Jianyun. Seeing her finish drinking, she suddenly said as if she was chit-chatting, "Yan Duo, I heard Liancheng on the phone today. It seems like he wanted some expert from Imperial to come to King Hu. Is he feeling unwell somewhere?" Jianyun was just about to put the cup on the tea table when she heard her words and her hand suddenly shook. She lifted her eyes and quickly looked at Yang Fei. When she lowered her eyes again, her lips unconsciously bit lightly and then shook her head. Her voice was muffled. "How would I know?" Yang Fei pretended not to see Jianyun's awkward look and lifted her hair. She casually said, "He might be asking for someone else." Jianyun lowered her head and did not say anything. Yang Fei patted Jianyun's hand. "Quickly go wash up and go to bed early. Otherwise, the little darling might be a night owl when he comes out." But this night, Jianyun tossed and turned, unable to sleep no matter what. There were too many things on her mind, and she really wanted to find someone to talk to. But whether it was Yu Wenjing or Luo Yanyan, they were not suitable at this moment. In the end, Jianyun sent Yanzi a WeChat message. "Sister Z, are you asleep?" At this time, in the house separated from Jianyun's house, Hu Liancheng was making a phone call. He spoke French. After the phone call, Cheng Muz asked, "Dr. Brown agreed to come over?" Hu Liancheng nodded. "Yes." Cheng Muz looked at Hu Liancheng, who was about to make another call. He was confused. "Fourth brother, you have contacted more than 100 top obstetricians in the world, including pediatricians, brain specialists, cardiology, surgery, and internal medicine." Cheng Muz counted with his fingers and said with a bitter face, "Sister Jian is not willing to go to the capital. Although the medical conditions in King Hu are good, even if the first hospital is ranked among the top doctors in the country, they can't accept so many experts." Hu Liansheng frowned and thought for a while. He agreed with Cheng Muz, so he ordered Cheng Muz, "I will leave this matter to you. I will give you a week to open a top obstetrician hospital in Green Lake." "What?" Cheng Muz jumped to his feet and widened his eyes. "A hospital for a week? Is there a problem?" Hu Liancheng narrowed his eyes. A cold light flashed in his eyes. No problem." Cheng Muz fell to the ground and couldn't get up. He spat out 3 liters of blood. He was asking for trouble. He had nothing to say about the fact that Green Lake Hospital wasn't big enough. Cheng Muz saw that Hu Liancheng was calling the experts from the US again. He looked like he had nothing to live for. The devil was indeed inhumane. It was getting late at night. It was 10:30 p.m., but neither Hu Liancheng nor Cheng Muz had rested. Hu Liancheng had finished his phone call. It was Cheng Muz's turn to keep calling. He wanted to complete a top hospital within a week. He had to hurry. The experts were all ready. According to Hu Liancheng, they would finish all their work within a week. They would fly to Green Lake to prepare for Jianyun to give birth. Then, they would have to keep up with all the equipment needed by the hospital. Cheng Muz took a shortcut. He asked someone to buy the private mother hospital in Green Lake. This way, as long as the equipment could keep up, it would be fine. It was not easy to arrange the mission. Cheng Muz felt like he was choking inside the house. He looked up and saw Hu Liancheng with half a cigarette in his mouth. He was processing the documents left during the day. There were already several cigarette butts in the ashtray in front of him. "Fourth brother, didn't you say you don't smoke?" Cheng Muz asked. Cheng Muz waved his hand and opened the window. Hu Liancheng ignored him. A red light flashed on the tip of his cigarette, and he took a deep breath. Cheng Muz rolled his eyes and suddenly shouted, "Sister Jian, fourth brother is smoking again." Hu Liancheng jumped up like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. He hurriedly pressed the cigarette in his hand into the ashtray. Due to the sudden incident, he had just swallowed the cigarette. He did not have time to spit it out. He was so panicked that he coughed repeatedly. But then, Hu Liancheng realized that Cheng Muz was laughing. He realized that he had been tricked by Cheng Muz. He was angry at the time. Cheng Muz instantly ran away without a trace. Hu Liancheng picked up the documents on the table and flicked the ashes into the ashtray. He didn't want to smoke, but his mouth was tasteless. His throat was itchy, so he couldn't help but smoke a cigarette and light it up. Unexpectedly, Hu Liancheng had just taken 2 sips when he heard Cheng Mu's say, "Hey, it's so late." "Sister Jian, why are you here?" Hu Liancheng could not be bothered with Cheng Mu's. He held the cigarette and took a big drag. He felt very comfortable, and his mind was much clearer. He had to guard Jian Yun during the day, and did not have the time to deal with the company matters. Now that he had accumulated so much, he had to finish reading quickly. Only then would he have more time to accompany Jian Yun tomorrow. "Mom asked me to bring this over. This is the rice wine that Auntie Quinn brewed herself. The weather is cold, and you guys should drink some to sleep and warm up." Jian Yun's cold voice suddenly sounded. Immediately, Hu Liancheng's ears buzzed like thunder. He became nervous and suddenly coughed. In an instant, his nose and mouth began to smoke. At the same time, he hurriedly extinguished the cigarette butt and went to open the window a little wider. He finally finished his work. He turned his head and saw Jian Yun frowning at him. Hu Liancheng felt his heart suddenly sink, and his heart immediately began to pound. Hu Liancheng wanted to explain, but just as he opened his mouth, he suddenly started coughing. He covered his mouth and tried to hold it back, but the smoke provoked his throat. The more he wanted to hold it in, the more he felt the itch in his throat. He could not stop coughing. Jian Yun's brows knitted even more tightly. It was not easy for him to make Jian Yun not reject him. The image that he painstakingly maintained was destroyed just like that. Hu Liancheng was extremely upset. Furthermore, he clearly promised not to smoke again, but Jian Yun bumped into him. Hu Liancheng was very worried now. Would Jian Yun think that he lied to her again? Hu Liancheng felt that he still had to explain. He had really tolerated not smoking for 2 days. Tonight, he also saw that he had too much work and could not hold it in for a while. "Have some water." However, before Hu Liancheng could finish his sentence, Jian Yun had walked over at some point. She lowered her head and did not look at him. She was holding a glass of water in her hand. "You gave me some water?" Hu Liancheng was overwhelmed by the unexpected favor. Jian Yun passed the cup to Hu Liancheng and nodded. She seemed to smell the smoke from Hu Liancheng's body. She moved her eyebrows and covered her nose with her fingers. "Thank you." Hu Liancheng was overjoyed. His eyes were as bright as the stars. He took the cup of water from Jian Yun and could not hold it in anymore. He grabbed Jian Yun's hand. It was soft and smooth. It was as if there was an electric current flowing into his heart. He felt numb and numb. Hu Liancheng felt that this was the happiest moment in the past few months. Jian Yun, however, seemed to be shocked. She suddenly pulled her hand back. Hu Liancheng also came back to his senses at this moment. Although Jian Yun did not reject him now, the misunderstanding before was too deep, and the misunderstanding was too big. He could not be too hasty. So Jian Yun gently pulled, and he immediately let go of his hand. His handsome face revealed an apologetic expression. I didn't hurt you, right?" Jian Yun bit her lips and subconsciously shook her head. She lowered her head and could not see if she was angry or not. She retracted her hand and quickly took a step back. Her long eyelashes trembled, and she turned around to walk out of the door. I'll send you off." Hu Liancheng quickly followed. Cheng Mu's couldn't help but roll his eyes. This room was very far from the main door. He didn't need to send her away. Moreover, he felt that fourth brother was too easily satisfied. He was so excited when the two of them held hands. Hu Liancheng went out to see Jian Yun off for 10 minutes, but still did not come back. Cheng Mu's was worried. He opened the door and took a look. He rolled his eyes again. The dignified CEO of Cloud Group stood at the door with a glass of water in his hand, and smiled foolishly. If this was taken by the reporters, they would definitely think that Hu Liancheng was cursed. The next morning, Jian Yun just woke up and came out of the washroom when she received a call from Wu Wenjing. "Jian Yun, you didn't go online yesterday, right?" Wenjing asked carefully. "No, why?" Jian Yun rubbed her legs and asked casually. She felt that her body had become more and more cumbersome over the past few days. Moreover, her stomach had become bigger. The nerves that were pressing down on her legs made her walk a little painful. Ever since she had been ridiculed and cursed by the netizens, Jian Yun basically did not use her phone to browse Weibo or browse websites. At most, she would only watch movies, dramas, and novels. However, she would not watch for long. If she watched for too long, she would have a headache. Wenjing hesitated for a moment but still said, "Jian Yun, go to WeChat." I will send you a few photos. Jian Yun replied with an O. She understood that if it was something bad, Wei Wenjing would not show it to her, so she did not think too much about it. Just as she opened WeChat, Jian Yun saw a message notification. She casually opened it, and Wenjing had already sent her a picture. Jian Yun originally did not care, but when she saw the woman dressed in red wedding dress in the picture, a trace of confusion flashed across her eyes. In the picture, there was only the back of the woman in the picture. She was standing on the stairs, looking into the distance. She was probably wearing a wedding dress. Her red dress was like fire and her skirt was pulled. Her black hair was pulled up like Yonduo's, and she wore a golden phoenix crown. Just her back was enough to make one's heart beat faster. But who was this? Why did Wu Wenjing send her such a picture? Jian Yun frowned and was very puzzled, so she sent Wenjing Wenjing quickly replied a few. Jian Yun looked confused and did not know what Yu Wenjing was trying to do. She was just about to put down her phone when the news came again. Jian Yun, take a good look at who this is. Wenjing sent a voice message. Her tone sounded very anxious, but could not hide her excitement. Following behind this voice message were another 3 or 4 photos. All of them were the woman in the red ancient wedding dress. This time, there were 2 straight faces and 1 side face. She saw that the woman's makeup was exquisite, and there was a flower on her forehead. She was so beautiful that it was impossible to miss. Among them, there was one that she was looking in a certain direction. Her clear black and white eyes seemed to contain 2 pools of spring water. The corner of her mouth was smiling, and just one look was enough to make people feel a deep love. Her smile was like a touch of green in a world of ice and snow, making people feel relaxed and relaxed. Yes, she must be looking at her lover, but what kind of man could make such a beauty love so deeply? This was what everyone who saw this picture wanted to know the most. Wenjing saw that Jian Yun did not respond for a long time and immediately sent a line of words. Jian Yun? Do you see the picture? This is you, right? Jian Yun pressed her finger and replied, yes. She remembered that before the incident, she and Hu Liancheng went to An Jiaozhao's studio to take this group of photos. In fact, Hu Liancheng and she had ordered 5 sets of clothes together. They were all handmade. Later on, when they took the photos that day, they only took a set of ancient wedding clothes and Hu Liancheng had left early. Later on, too many things happened, and the photos were naturally forgotten. Wenjing immediately called, Jian Yun. How can you still be so calm? I don't know where the set of photos came from, but now everyone is stunned. There is also a video. Wait for me to send it to you, she continued. I heard that online celebrity companies and live streaming companies are all asking around about the person in this photo. There are even star scouts from entertainment companies asking about it. Now, you can directly become a star. Oh. Jian Yun was not interested in these things. She did not know what Wenjing was excited about. Why is it so tiring to talk to you? I won't tell you anymore. Wu Wenjing hung up the phone, and Jian Yun immediately received a message from Wu Wenjing again. This time it was a website. When she clicked it, it was a video of her dancing in a red wedding dress. This time in the video, Jian Yun was not the only one. There was also a man in a simple white shirt. The man was handsome and had sharp eyebrows and bright eyes. He was very noble. He sat on a stool, and in front of him was a guqin. The man's slender fingers slowly moved the guqin, and a beautiful classical music flowed out. The woman was dancing. This scene was as beautiful as a painting. The comments below the video had already blown up the sky. This young lady is so beautiful, and her dance is also beautiful. I'm in love with her. The man is so handsome. This man looks a little familiar. Why does he look like her? If you don't finish your sentence, your son has no anus. It's Hu Liancheng. I didn't see wrongly. Look at the photos. Then who is this woman? Looking at the time of the photo, it seems to be the time of the photo. At that time, didn't Hu Liancheng have a wife at that time? This should be a wedding photo. They are clearly a man and a woman. Which bastard and shameless slut were the ones who spread rumors about hubby Hugh's ex-wife being an ugly woman? That's right. Yesterday, on the Skynet, there was a lot of talk about the abandoned wife of the wealthy class. Jian Yun took a casual look and saw these comments. In just a few minutes, the number of these comments was still increasing at an alarming rate. Among them, there were a few accounts that were particularly diligent. They were practically jumping up and down to flatter her to the extreme. She could not help but take a few more glances. Jian Yun stared at the words abandoned wife again, and did not understand what it meant. She casually searched it but did not find any posts about this topic. Ever since that incident, she had been keeping a respectful distance from these topics on the internet. She did not look at the news that she could not find. She did not want to be affected by those unrelated people and matters anymore. Hu Liangcheng woke up at 5 in the morning. He was so excited that he could not sleep. He could not bear to drink the water Jian Yun poured for him last night. He kept holding the cup. When he was sleeping, he put the cup on the bedside table. He even had a beautiful dream of hugging a beauty all night. It caused him to have a physiological reaction early in the morning. Since he could not sleep, Hu Liangcheng got up to deal with the documents. When it was almost 7 o'clock, he was about to go out to Jian Yun's side when he saw Cheng Mu's rushing out of the house in only a pair of shorts. Fourth brother quickly looked at Weibo. Why are there discussions about you and Sister Jian's photos everywhere? Photos? What photos? Hu Liangcheng was stunned for a moment, but his hands were not slow. He took out his phone and went online. When he saw this, he was also stunned. When did you take these photos? Why haven't I seen them before? He continued. But today, the netizens are praising you for your beauty. This photo is really beautiful. It's simply perfect. And fourth brother, when did you learn the guqin? Cheng Mu's originally lowered his head to admire the photos. When he raised his head, he suddenly realized that there was no one in front of him. At this moment, the door also slammed. At this moment, Hu Liangcheng even wanted to kill someone. Damn An Jiaozhao. To expose this group of photos at such a time, he did not dare to imagine how Jian Yun would react when she saw it. Yesterday, he guarded her for a day, afraid that she would see those terrible rumors on the internet. Although they were dealt with very quickly, he still had lingering fear in his heart. Yang Fei heard the knock on the door and hurriedly went to open the door. She saw Hu Liangcheng rush in. Where is Duoer? In her bedroom. Yang Fei saw Hu Liangcheng's anxious expression and did not ask any more questions. Hu Liangcheng walked over and pushed the door open. He saw Jian Yun standing at the window and looking outside expressionlessly. Her phone was on the bed and the signal light was still flashing. Duoer. Jian Yun heard the sound and turned her head to look. When she saw Hu Liangcheng, something seemed to flash in her eyes.